And welcome to Future Talk Cyber Chat all in one with Shara Evans and Jessie DeHaan. So Shara Evans is one of the world's best technology futurists, and Jessie DeHaan is one of the best cybersecurity experts. But today we're really talking about scams and scam emails. So Shara, what's your take on them?
Well, this is really part two of a conversation that we started in our last Future Talk Cyber Chat series and just ran out of time. But what I am seeing as both a technology futurist and cybersecurity expert, and I'm sure Jessie is seeing the same, is that scams are on the rise. And I'd like to show you one that landed in my inbox a little while ago and share the story about what happened with this particular scam email. So I'm just going to share my screen. Now, this email came to me purportedly from the ATO. So you can see that I've got a red circle up in the top left, and it says ato.gov.au. And notice in there that it has a bunch of links that are basically hyperlinks buried as text, so you can't really see where you're going to. And as soon as I saw this, my alarm bells went off, bing, because the ATO never sends me information by email. I have a tax agent, and any communication that I would normally get would be through my tax agent. So that set off an alarm, and I contacted my tax agent and basically asked them if there was anything outstanding that they know of that I needed to be aware of from the ATO. And there didn't seem to be, and they said, oh, it looks all right. And I'm like, no, this does not look okay. So I decided to do a little bit of a Google search, and guess what? That email that I've circled in red here is from a scam that was a big thing in 2017, but it's the same exact email address as the email that I received from the ATO. So what I did next was I picked up the phone and I called the ATO and described the email, and they said, oh, that doesn't sound like it's from us. And I said, do me a favor, please check and see if anybody in the ATO has sent me any email at all. And the answer was, no, we have not. And they gave me the email address to report scams to and a reference number, and I did that. And then I forwarded it to my tax agent, and they were, of course, concerned. So they called the ATO and they got a different story. So this is even weirder. The ATO told my tax agent, not about my specific case, but in general, oh, since COVID, we're now sending out emails to people, with information. And I thought, this just does not sound right, because why would the ATO be sending hidden links and so on? And not only that, why would they tell me one thing and tell my tax agent something else? Something isn't right here. And even if they were going to send out emails, why in the world would they use an email address that is known to be a scam or phishing email address? So Jessie, your comments.
And look, I completely agree. Scams are on the rise. You've done everything right there by contacting the ATO via phone, contacting your tax accountant, even getting the tax accountant to contact the ATO. Those are the main things you've done correct there. The things you can go through and further do to actually identify whether it's a scam or legitimate email. And this one's a very quick one without actually contacting anyone at all. Hover over the links of the email. So hover over those hyperlinks with your mouse, and you will actually see the web address that they're actually going to. 99% of the time, they won't go to anything related to the ATO. They will go to hacker.org or scam.org or whatever the case may be. And they will be a fake email address. And as soon as you click on that link, it will then either start downloading a potential virus, or once you get to the website, that's when it will occur. But that's the quickest way you can identify whether it's legitimate or fake, is hover over those links. Obviously, if you're not downloading images automatically through your web client as well, you can obviously protect yourself further by going, okay, don't download those images, because those images could be potentially dangerous as well. There could be a tracking image within that email. So that's another identifier. It could just be a solid pixel, but it can just be something that once you navigate away from that email, it activates. It could be an auto-run download file, whatever the case may be. But you've done all the right things by contacting the ATO directly. And the best way to do it is via phone, not via email. Never respond to something like this.
No.
Because if you do respond, then obviously the malicious person on the other end will obviously play the part of the ATO, say it's legitimate, and then try and dupe you further. But you've done everything correctly. And the only thing I would add is hover over those links and identify where they're actually taking you to.
Yeah, I actually do that. But in this instance, I didn't even have to go that far. I just saw it and my intuition just went, not right. I've been in business since 1997 and I've never had an email from the ATO in all these years. There's definitely something fishy about this. And if it was a legitimate email from the ATO, they should not have any links. That's just part of their practice, that they're not supposed to be doing that.
Exactly right.
But what's really concerning is that they actually told my tax agent something different. That to me is very concerning.
Yes, you would hope that the ATO has their ducks in line and the left hand knows what the right hand is doing. However, it's not always the case, as we do have human beings on the other end of that phone communicating back and forward. We don't know the experience level or the commitment level to the organization that person has. Within the organization. So they may be a new starter, they may only be the second day on, whatever the case may be, or they may be a veteran within the organization. And one person may call and get the veteran, whereas the other person may call and get a new starter. And that's unfortunately where the two stories never match up. And I've seen that countless times with different customers, different partners of ours, and it can occur. People do make mistakes. And as you said, if it looks and feels fishy, just click away from it, delete it. If it's urgent, you can either contact the person that sent you the email on a trusted number, or they will contact you again if it's legitimate. Yeah. But that's obviously where things like scam emails and phishing emails get their name from. So it feels fishy. It's obviously a phishing email that is phishing for information.
We're trying to download malware, get you to click on something and download malware onto your computer.
Exactly.
Or your website and get you to type in, financial data or who knows what else. But
exactly.
Jessie, you always say in my cybersecurity training that I've done with you, you always say stop, think, act. So what are those three words? Because they're quite simple and we need to be cyber secure. So what are those three words for?
So the reason I say stop, think, act, and the reason I live by that is it's going to save you in every aspect of online security and general life as well. So if you get something that feels out of the ordinary, doesn't feel right, stop, have a look at it, think about it and go, is this normal? Am I expecting something from this person? Was I talking to this person recently? Should I be expecting something in the near future? Whatever the case may be, think about it. Does it look real? Does the links or do the links line up? Do the sender address and the URL actually line up? Does the signature look legitimate at the bottom of the email? All of these things you need to look at and think about. If the answer to those is no, then push it aside, deal with it when you have more time and more brain width to basically say, okay, this is legitimate or fake. And once you've identified whether it's legitimate or fake, and always err on the side of caution as well. As I said, if it's legitimate and you've deleted it by accident, someone will contact you again. If it's urgent, they'll contact you urgently. If not, it will take a couple of days, obviously. But if you are unsure about it and you're in a corporate setting, forward it to the IT department. They will see this, they will look at it, they'll assess it. If it's legitimate, they'll send it back. If it's in a personal instance, that's when you can delete it or push it to your junk box and obviously see if that person contacts you directly. And that's where the act comes into it. Basically, you act upon your gut instinct. If it's not right, push it aside, deal with it at a later date.
If you can trust it, that's when you look into it further.